How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Joe Biden's most recent gaffe in the series of gaffes he's had all throughout this election cycle in 2019 and, of course, this year, 2020. Now, before anyone says it, I'll go ahead and put it out there. Some of you may say, hey, ABL, stop messing with Joe. Leave him alone. He made a few mistakes. So what? We all make mistakes. He's a stutterer, all this, that, and the third. Well, at a particular point, you got to call these few mistakes just who Joe Biden is, okay? And it's not getting any better. He's 77 years old. He'll be 78 at the end of November. I think November the 20th. So this is not getting better. The so-called gaffes are increasing in frequency. They're not decreasing. He's doing it all the time. Now, before I go any further, let's roll the clip. In this clip, you'll see a piece of a video from one of these Freedom Fund launchers. I'm not really sure what he's calling it. Some kind of Zoom call fundraiser that he was on. You'll see what he said. You'll hear what he said. After we get done watching that, I'll talk about what he said. I'll give you some context so we're on the same page with each other. Then I'll give you the rest of my 2 cents, my deep, detailed analysis. And then I'll wrap it on up with a nice bow on top. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
This is the most consequent, not because I'm running, but because who I'm running against. This is the most consequential election in a long, long, long time. And the character of the country, in my view, is literally on the ballot. What kind of country we're going to be? 4 more years of George, he's going to find ourselves in a position where if Trump gets elected, we're going to be in a different world. And so.
All right, so you heard that, you saw that. Now, obviously, he was talking about someone else that was not there on the Zoom call. Straight away, some may try to just debunk this. I saw this a lot on Twitter from some of these left-wing websites, like CNN, NBC, etc. They're saying that, oh, well, George Lopez was right there on the Zoom call with him, so he could have been referring to George Lopez. Well, was George Lopez ever in office for a 4-year term of anything? Was he ever the president? Was he ever a senator or a governor or something like that? Because Joe Biden specifically said 4 more years of George, 4 more years, and he was saying it in a negative way. So if George Lopez was right there on the Zoom call with him and he's not been the president ever or any kind of public office to where you got to get reelected, then why would he say 4 more years of George and then say George a couple of times back to back and then say Trump? He fixed it towards the end. He was wanting to say Trump, but instead said George, not once, but twice back to back. And then finally fixed himself and said Trump at the end. Okay, that's not what you do as a stutterer. You're not going to say George when you really mean Trump. Maybe you're going to say the president or something else. You just replace that particular word with a word that's the same thing, a synonym or a different way to say the same word, a different way to pronounce it, not saying a whole different name. Now, some said he was talking about George W. Bush, the most recent Bush in office, but I think he was referring to George H.W. Bush. Because remember, Joe Biden ran for president 3 times. This is his 3rd time right now. He ran in 2008, didn't succeed in that, obviously. He became Barack Obama's running mate. But his first time was 1988. Now, who became president in 1988? Take a wild guess. Okay, I gave you the clue already. Okay, if you didn't figure that out, that was George H.W. Bush, right after Reagan. And it was known for a long time that George H.W. was going to run for president after Reagan was done. Okay, like in 84, because Reagan, 2nd term, got reelected. He succeeded. Okay, let's carry the torch. You, George H.W., you be the next guy in. No new taxes, all this, that, and the third. All right. And Joe Biden, of course, is a Democrat running against George H.W. At least really early. He announced he was going to run in 87, like I think in June, and dropped out in September 87 because of the whole plagiarism, stuff like that. He had to apologize and come up with a whole big speech. And funny enough, he was in the Senate, of course, for like ever. People that supported him throughout all the plagiarism stuff, you had one notable guy, Robert Byrd, the former Klansman, but that's a different story. So I digress. The whole point is that he ran back then when George H.W. was in the process of running or getting ready to launch his campaign. I think George H.W. officially launched his campaign in October of 87, like a few days after Joe Biden dropped out of the race because of the whole plagiarism thing. So I think his mind went back to 1988. Remember, he was on stage. I might have been in a debate or something a while back. It might have been this year or last year. He was talking about, well, you don't sleep to the phonograph playing. Phonograph? We still got phonographs 2020. Who has a phonograph in their house and plays it at night? And if you have one, do you call it a phonograph or is it a record player? Okay, everybody pretty much on their phones. And most you might have is a Bluetooth speaker or something like that. You might got one of these bad boys. Ain't no phonograph going on in 2020. Why did he say that? It's because maybe his mind is recalling memories as if they're in the present. Maybe that's going on. Again, I'm not a doctor. I cannot diagnose this man, but that's what it appears like to me. Why would you say 4 more years of George and then say it twice? And his wife knew what was going on. And you saw her body language right when he said that and was struggling to come up with the name. She almost jumped in. She kind of like moved a little bit. Her mouth kind of opened a little bit. And she's done that before. When he's kind of struggling, she'll jump in. I think even one of the networks did that before. He was struggling to come up with a name. He couldn't think of it. And then they gave him the line. It was like, come on, this guy can't even talk for a few minutes at a time. He's talking about 2 minutes at a time, 3 minutes at a time. He can't talk. And he'll get jammed up, forget where he is, train of thought totally lost, derailed. He's got to get put back on the train. He's got to point it in the right direction. Something is obviously wrong with this man, and the Democratic Party should be ashamed of themselves. And his wife, same way. This man is literally Weekend at Bernie's. He is pretty much 2 feet in the grave at this particular point in time. I'm surprised he's able to do any appearances. All right. We have 1 week before the election day, November the 3rd. That's in 1 week from right now. Okay. 1 week. And he's calling lids on days, which means he doesn't really go out. No public appearances. So I was like, all right, how are you not going to campaign and hope to succeed? Sir, you got to campaign. The whole virus excuse is no excuse. You can do public appearances even without a big crowd. They can be distanced, far away. They can put the mask on and it's fine. Okay. But you can't just not campaign and expect to succeed. And when you do come out, you look like this. And he's coughing and stuff like that when you do see him. The man, Joe Biden, does not look well. Okay. And that's not even talking about all the racist stuff. Okay. If you don't vote for me, you ain't black. You know, poor kids, smart as white kids. I know about black kids. I know about roaches. I got hairy legs. Just all kind of crazy stuff. All right. This guy's not fit to run for dog catch, let alone president of the US of A. The leader of the free world is not what he should be doing. And it doesn't matter if he's Democrat, Republican, or whatever. He's not mentally fit to do much of anything. He's too old, really, beyond that. 77 years old. He'll be 78 in November. I know Trump is no spring chicken, but good night. Trump is, 74 or 75 years old? He's at least 3 to 4 years younger than Joe Biden, and he's running again for second term. This would be Joe Biden's first term. He would be the oldest president ever. Older than Reagan, older than Trump, older than anybody that has ever run before. And he's already looking like he's at the last leg of a way too long presidency. So as I close, I want to say this. At a certain point, we can't just say these are gas. This is what it is. All right. You're talking about Trump and you said we can't have 4 more years of Trump, but you're talking about George H.W. probably going all the way back to 1988. If you got a guy that cannot keep his mind current, how can he be the president? Democrats know this. They might try to put him in there and then say, okay, he's not fit for office anymore. They might do that in January if he was to win by some sort of, of luck, of pure and unbridled luck, he could win. But their plan would be to take him out because he's unfit, put him on the sideline, have Kamala Harris step to the front. Okay, you already got some of these talking heads on the left out there speaking about Kamala Harris more than Joe Biden. And I feel like I've seen her more than Joe Biden. But quite frankly, she's not that good herself. Talking about, are we in Cleveland and laughing at inappropriate times? Somebody could say, oh, my pet dog got hit by a car. It's like, come on, Kamala Harris. That is totally inappropriate. Nervous laughter. Imagine a Kamala Harris speaking to world leaders, speaking to Xi Jinping, Vladimir Putin, okay, Kim Jong-un. Imagine that. Who's going to take her seriously? Nobody. And Joe Biden is pretty much dead. Democrats do better with the selection process. This guy is only in there, Joe Biden that is, because of Barack Obama. If not for that connection, he would not be here right now. Maybe there should have been a little bit of foresight into who the VP was going to be back in 2008. I'm just saying, you could have done better, Democratic Party, but here we are. So it works for us on the right because we're going to win again. You guys are going to lose. It is what it is. Try better next time. Get better candidates. Matter of fact, get a better party and get better platform positions and have a guy that's not dead or 85% dead running for president. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Do you think that Joe Biden is okay mentally? If that's your viewpoint, let me know why in the comments below. Or is he not okay mentally? If that's your viewpoint, let me know why in the comments below. You guys know where I stand. I'm not a doctor. I don't know if he has any kind of disorder, disease, or ailment. I have no idea. But I know he's not right. You know, if I see a guy walking down the street screaming to himself with nobody around him, singing songs from the 1930s in Japanese and then at the same time German, I'd be like, all right, well, I don't know what his actual condition is. I can't diagnose him right here, but something's not right. All right. Something is not right. Maybe he's high on drugs. I don't know what's going on, but it's clearly a problem. And if you got a guy that's making you think about people like that running for president, maybe they probably shouldn't be running. Just maybe they shouldn't be running. They should be at home, just hanging out, chilling, especially Joe Biden. I mean, let this man go home. You know what? He's going to lose, but it'll be for his own good. He does not need to be out here anymore. He's already pretty much holed up in his basement in Wilmington. And when he does come out, he'll go to Philadelphia like a half hour away, or Wilmington, which is like right outside his house. He won't travel. He does not campaign. He's toast. Let this man be toast and move on. Democrats, try harder, get a better party, get better candidates to run. Simple as that. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.